Hey boss, we took care of Hercules. Did you? Yep, dead as a doornail. We killed him. No, you didn't. How'd you know? Boys, I am the warden of the underworld. Oh, yeah. I manage every single soul that comes through here. That's right, you do that. Did you honestly think I wouldn't notice that the soul of Hercules did not come through here, meaning he obviously isn't dead? Gee, boss, when you say it like that, it sounds like a glaringly obvious plot hole. Hey, I got a theory. In Egyptian mythology, the god of air is named Shu, S-H-U. Do you think the Egyptians named him that because that's the sound air makes? Shoo. What are your thoughts? Alright, so, what's gonna be our name for this creature? Yes, we're gonna call him Mao. Oh, okay. How'd you come up with that? I'll show you. Hey buddy, what's your name? Meow. See that? That makes sense to me. Say, what about that huge creature? You know, the one with the trunk and the floppy ears? Oh yeah, I'm thinking we'll call him... Hey, you know how in the Moana movie, Maui had the tale of his birth tattooed onto his backside? Well, I guess you could say that was his backstory. Hey! Here's something you might not know about Hera. You probably know that Hera's sacred animal is the peacock, but did you know that in Greek mythology, Hera's the one who gave it the eye pattern on its tail feathers? You see, the story goes that Zeus was cheating on Hera, shocking, with a woman named Io, and Hera managed to get a hold of Io and hold her prisoner. Hera then commanded her loyal servant Argus to watch Io and make sure she couldn't get away. Argus was a man who had eyes all over his body, so nothing could get past his sight. But Zeus sent in Hermes. Hermes played music, which put Argus's eyes all to sleep. Hermes killed Argus, and then Hermes saved Io. And Hera actually felt bad for Argus, since he had died being nothing but loyal. So to honor him, she took all his eyes and put them onto her sacred animal, the peacock, forevermore. Poor Argus. Guy was literally just doing his job. Man, you can't even survive Greek gods when you do exactly what they tell you. Buddy, I need help. There's some giant, disgusting foot monster that bursts into my house every day. I don't know what to do. Oh, the Ashiraya Shiki? Oh yeah, that giant foot used to come to my house too, but one day I got rid of it thanks to my secret weapon. Secret weapon? What secret weapon? What did you use against that foot? The enemy of all feet, my friend. Okay, here's something I don't really get about the Japanese Tsukumogami. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tsukumogami are when Japanese household objects, like sandals or umbrellas, come to life and become evil as a result of being neglected and allowed to fall apart by their owners. However, a lot of people say that it takes at least 100 years for an object to become a Tsukumogami. Who the hell holds on to the same pair of sandals or umbrella for over 100 years? I don't think anybody does that. You would have to pass those sandals down through multiple generations. And why go to all the trouble of doing that if you're just gonna neglect them and let them fall apart? Man, you'd think all the Tsukumogami would be developing at a local garbage dump, not in an actual house if it takes that long. People got weird traditions, man. Hey, I am a huge mythology fan, and I recently heard you Lego guys launched some Monkey King sets? We sure did! Awesome! Alright, how much for that Monkey King warrior mech? Oh, you're lucky, that one's on sale. Only $700. Ooh, whoa. You know, maybe something smaller. Ooh, yeah, like, how about one of these little guys? How much is this? $900. Oh, come on! Well, that one's not on sale. Alright, what is your cheapest item? I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking. How do you not? I'm just asking which of these items is the cheapest? Cheap? We don't have this word in the Lego industry. Hey, you know how in Perseus's story, he at one point steals the special eye from the Grey sisters? Yeah, that was a really eye-catching moment. Fun fact! I'm sure you've all heard of centaurs, and you've probably heard of Chiron as well, but did you know that there is another race of centaurs called Ichthyo Centaurs? Much like regular centaurs, these creatures have the upper bodies of humans and the front legs of horses, but the key difference is that they have a huge fish tail, so they're basically like mer-centaurs. There are two of these creatures, a pair of brothers named Aphros and Bethos, whose names translate to sea foam and sea depths. They are also brothers of Chiron, the wisest of the centaurs, and they are sometimes depicted alongside Aphrodite during her birth, and they are symbols of Pisces. Honestly, I see these guys as a good representation of all things Poseidon, part man, part horse, and part fish. Man, I wonder if there's any flying centaurs. Are there? Let me know. And let me know if there are any other centaurs you know about. I want to hear. Greek Kratos?
Zeus, your son has returned! I bring the destruction of Olympus! The hands of death could not defeat me. The sisters of fate could not hold me. And you will not see the end of this day. All on Olympus tremble at my name. Together, we will destroy the petty gods, and we will see Olympus crumble before us. Do not deny me my revenge!
Norse Kratos.
Boy.
Congratulations on the new baby! Oh, is the father in the picture? It's actually a very strange story. See, I was just in a temple minding my own business when suddenly a random ball of feathers fell next to me and impregnated me. Isn't that weird? What? I didn't do it. Yes, you did. Yeah, I did. Oh, Mr. Collins, sir, I'm so sorry. I've accidentally killed your guard dog. Oh no, my loyal dog! I'm so sorry. Listen, I will gladly replace it for you. Oh, you will you? All right, fine. Guard the door. Oh, no, I didn't mean I would replace it. I meant that I said guard the door, bitch. Okay, you know what, if you say so, I suppose it's the least I could do. Since when does a dog talk? Woof? That's better. Hey, what does Hecate say when she brings someone into her bedroom? This is where the magic happens. So here's a mythical creature who's quite the environmentalist, the Kurupira from Brazilian mythology. These creatures look kinda like small humans with red hair and backwards feet. Bet that's inconvenient. The Kurupira's name translates to covered in blisters. Great. But don't be too quick to judge, because these creatures are actually honorable guardians of nature. If the Kurupira sees any hunters who are killing more animals than they need to or destroying too much plant life, they will interfere. They use their backwards feet to leave misleading footprints that throw the hunters off their trail. They can also create illusions and mimic the sounds of people and animals to really confuse the hunters. And they can make an incredibly loud, high-pitched scream, which makes the hunters go insane. Who needs PETA when you got guys like this? Hey, I noticed a plot hole with God of War 2. Spoiler alert, by the way. So, at the end of the game, Kratos gains the ability to travel through time. And he uses that ability to go back in time to the Titan War and save the Titans from being killed, bring them to the present in order to use them for his war against Olympus. Well, if he can do that, why didn't he save his wife and daughter? Is there any reason? Did he not think of that? Wonder if he thought of it later, when he couldn't do it anymore. Boy, that must have been upsetting. Yo mummy's so fat, she ate the sun before Apophis could. Yo mummy's so dumb, she thinks she's found the Egyptian gods every time she walks into a furry con. Yo mummy's so fat, her heart sent that feather flying. Yo mummy's so old, she misses the days when Egypt wasn't covered in sand. Yo mummy's so ugly, Ra refuses to raise the sun wherever she is. Yo mummy's so fat, Geb is suffocating. Yo mummy's so annoying, the Egyptians thought she was one of God's plagues.
No, you can't fit in that thing. That's not deep enough. Oh, yeah? See? I told ya. Sometimes I come in here just to get away from it. Hey, a nickel! What happened? And he said he didn't think it was big enough to fit a grown man. So, you got in voluntarily? Oh, man, if I ever run into that guy again, you know what I'm gonna do? Bend over?
Hey, what did the Norse gods say after they told Skadi she would have to pick her husband only by looking at his feet? The game is afoot. Hey! Here's something you might not know about Artemis and Apollo. They once went on a murderous rampage because somebody disrespected their mother. You see, there once was a stupid woman named Niobe who had 14 children, and because she was stupid, she decided to brag about how she had had more children than the goddess Leto, who only had 2 children. Well, those 2 children happened to be Artemis and Apollo, and they were not amused at this sentiment, so they decided to take those 14 children and turn it into 0 children. Apollo slaughtered all 7 of Niobe's sons, while Artemis slaughtered all 7 of her daughters. That's right, punish the kids for what their mom did. That's the Olympian way. Niobe was obviously very sad after this and begged the gods for a way to help her stop being sad, so they turned her into a rock. Yeah, okay. I can't believe I have to keep saying this, but stop pissing off the Greek gods!
I betrayed everyone here.
No. No! No. Alright, Loki, what are you knowing about? This Marvel Disney Plus whatever show doesn't get my story right at all. I don't know what they're doing. It's infuriating. Okay. Well, then why have you kept watching it for 4 hours? Well, you know, I like Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, who doesn't? Why did Zeus want to marry Hera? Why didn't he just hit it and quit it like he does with literally everyone else? Like, why get married at all with the kind of lifestyle he leads? She doesn't even like him. Why did he want to come home to that every single day? What was it about her that he had to have her more than anybody else in his life? What, does he like being insulted? Is he a masochist now? Zeus, you're already weird enough. Please don't get weirder. Why does everybody keep calling me a bitch? I only do my job. Which is more than what can be said about most of the people I have to deal with. You realize that every time we run into each other, it's because of something you did, right? You realize that. So you ever stop to think maybe you're the bitch? That maybe you're the reason I have to keep showing up? No, you don't think about that, do you? Because it's so much easier to deflect blame than to actually make changes. And that's why you and I are gonna have to keep seeing each other. Well, you know what? I don't like being around you either. Hey... What did Loki say when his daughter asked him to raise her allowance? Hell no. I love all of my children, okay? I do not pick favorites. I promise you are all equally important to me. Athena, Ares, Artemis, Apollo, Hermes, Dionysus, Hepatitis? Who named these kids? Hey, here's something you might not know about Theseus. Everyone talks about how Theseus killed the Minotaur. We all know that story. But did you know that the Minotaur wasn't even the first villain that Theseus took down? Long before he had ever even heard of the Minotaur, when he was on his way to meet his dad for the first time, Theseus encountered a whole bunch of evil villains, including Periphetes, an evil bandit who would club people to death, Sinis, a man who enjoyed tearing people in half, a monstrous pig called the Chromionian Sow, Skyron, a robber who kicked people over the side of a cliff, Kerkion, a king who forced everyone to wrestle him to the death, And Procrustes, an innkeeper who would put people on a rack and stretch them to death. Theseus killed every last one of them. Rightfully so, as I think we can all agree. Watch out, Heracles, you've got yourself some competition. Dude, these Native American stories are fascinating. Have you heard of the Wendigo?
You're not supposed to say that!
What, Wendigo?
He said it again! Yes, the Native Americans believe that if you say the creature's name, it will come after you!
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
It doesn't matter how you feel. Out of respect to the Native Americans, you never say its name, or write it, or even think it!
What? But then how are we ever supposed to spread their stories around?
You don't! The only way to respect Native American culture is to completely ignore it and never say anything about it.
Okay, that's just stupid. People should be allowed to research and talk about whatever the heck they want.
No! Censorship is important! You need to make sure you never say anything that might cause any kind of offense to anyone!
You know what?
What?
Wendigo. I'm gonna go finish this book. It's way more fun than you are. Hey, you know how Arachne stays up to date with things? By spending a lot of time on the web.
Brother, if you want to have a real relationship with your boy, you're gonna have to open up and tell him everything about your past.
Everything?
Everything. Okay, maybe not everything.
So here's a mythical creature that you really have to see to believe, even if you don't want to. The Shirimei from Japanese mythology. Yes, this is a thing. It's a pale dude with no face and an eyeball where his booty hole should be. Thanks for that, Japan. This was very needed. Funny thing is, this guy actually does wear clothes, but when he encounters someone on the road, he immediately strips down in front of them, bends over, and shows them his butthole eye purely for the fun of it. The original flasher, I guess. These guys should go to New York. And apparently an ancient Japanese poet named Yosabu-san was such a big fan of this creature that he included it in several of his art pieces. Busan, is there something you want to talk about? Amazingly, this creature never actually seems to attack or hurt anyone. He just flashes them his butt eye. Japan, did we really need a whole monster just for that? What's next? A Japanese monster who just goes around poking holes in all the condoms at a convenience store? Hey, don't write that down, Japan. You know, one day, I'm gonna have a body just like the one Thor has in these Marvel movies.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I did it! I've been stranded on this island for days with no food or water, and all I could find was this old oil lamp. Well, guess I'll start rubbing it for no established reason. Wait, what the heck? What? Thou hath summoned me. Holy crap, a genie! Indeed, sir, and I am prepared to grant you one wish, but one wish only, so think carefully before you—
Make my dick bigger!
Huh? You heard me. Is that really your top priority right now? Hey, I didn't wish for questions, buddy. Now make the schlong long. Hey, what is Hathor's favorite position in bed? Cowgirl. What if the gods had Tinder? I may be a bird brain, but I don't see you as ruler of the gods. I change my mood 3 times a day, but I bet you'll love my final form that could ram you tonight. Also, I have a huge boat. Mainly here to promote my new book, The Book of Thoth. Yes, it was named after me because I know everything. Also, I'm here to answer any question you may have, but only after an exchange. Be with someone who will be there for you after till death do we part. Must love dogs, and alligator, lion, hippos. Don't worry, he's harmless. Unless you lie to me. Career-wise, I judge people for a living. Spoiler alert for God of War 2. How the hell was Kratos able to kill the Sisters of Fate? Like, they're the Sisters of Fate. If we're operating under the assumption that they control everything that's going to happen, then that means that they're the ones who decided Kratos was going to kill them in the first place. Why would they do that? If we're not operating under that assumption, though, we are still under the assumption that they know everything that's going to happen, so they would know Kratos is going to come after them and kill them. So why didn't they immediately tell Zeus, hey Zeus, your attempt to kill Kratos isn't going to work and he's going to come for us, so please come to our area right after you finish stabbing him and protect us from him? Why didn't they do that? Did they want to die? Does their job just suck that bad? I don't know, what do you think? This is Jupiter, god of the sky and thunder, rules over Mount Olympus with an iron fist, and often forces himself upon any kind of woman he can find.
Are you having a laugh?
What?
He does exactly what I do.
Fun fact! Do you know why Friday the 13th is considered a day of misfortune? Well, there's actually multiple historic reasons, one of them being in Norse mythology, with Loki. See, when Loki orchestrated the death of Balder, he did so at a dinner party where he was the 13th member to arrive, thus being one of the main reasons 13 is considered an unlucky number. But doesn't stop there. There's also Christianity. See, at Jesus' Last Supper, there were 13 people present, and the day after that was his crucifixion on Good Friday. Friday and 13. But it doesn't stop there. In history, something that is considered to be a great tragedy is when the Knights Templar were arrested and tried as heretics. And on what day were they arrested, you ask? Well, the year was 1307, the month was October, and the date was Friday the 13th. How about that? Coinkity-doo. I wonder if Voorhees knows any of this. Somebody should tell him. Not me. I ain't going near him. Wisdom. With Mimir. The waitress is not interested in you. She's only flirting because she works for tips. Hey, why are people so interested in the 9 Muses? Because they're very amusing. Hey Thor, us dwarves have decided to give you Mjolnir, the most powerful hammer in all existence. Wow, thank you. This thing is amazing. Yeah, but be careful, that thing requires immeasurable power to lift. Even you couldn't lift it without those strength-enhancing gloves. Wait, but then how did you guys lift it while you were making it? And how did you get it over here? Well... And no one will notice that. So here's a mythical creature who is in desperate need of therapy. The Squonk, a Pennsylvania urban legend. This poor guy has misfitting skin and a body covered entirely in warts and moles. Because of this, it absolutely hates the way it looks and will constantly avoid pools and puddles because it doesn't want to see its own reflection. Relatable. The creature is so filled with self-deprecation that it is consistently crying. Hunters can even track it by following the literal trails of tears it leaves behind. And sometimes when it gets cornered, it can even dissolve itself with its own tears. Well, that's depressing. I cannot properly put into words just how badly this thing needs a hug. Athena, what was it like growing up on Mount Olympus? It must have been incredible getting to spend your childhood in such a magical place. Oh, yeah. Totally. Zeus! Where have you been? Don't even answer that! I know exactly where you've been, you freaking pimp! You know, it's bad enough you manipulated me into this freaking excuse for a marriage, but you don't even have the decency to be loyal to me! You know how many kids you and I have together? 2! You know how many illegitimate kids you have? Cause I sure as hell don't, I couldn't keep track! Hey, don't you walk away from me! I will find those women! I will destroy them! I will destroy the parasites growing inside them! Do you want me to explode? Is that what you want? Here's something in Greek myth that doesn't make any sense. You know Chiron, the wisest centaur and the trainer of heroes? Do you know how he was born? Well, his father is actually Kronos, and Kronos one time pulled a Zeus because he encountered a woman, and he wanted to bang her, so he took the form of a horse and impregnated her that way, and that's how Chiron, half man, half horse, was conceived. But this was way before Poseidon was around, and Poseidon in Greek mythology is supposedly the creator of horses. So how did Kronos take the form of a horse when horses hadn't even been created yet? How did he know to turn into that when it didn't even exist at that point? Well, you know, I guess you could say Kronos was very Ahead of his time. Hey, what did the Egyptian priest say when he saw the Apis bull? Holy cow! Dude, it says here that Hades is Persephone's uncle. That means he married his niece. Man, I almost threw up when I read that part. Okay, you should stop there. What? Why? You are clearly not ready for the rest of these. Oh, come on, man. It can't get much worse than this. It can and it will. But I just got to the Zeus chapter, and I really want to read his stories. No, you do not! Oh, quit being dramatic. Everybody knows Zeus is the good guy. Oh, my sweet summer child. Fun fact! Ever wonder why the Hindu gods have so many arms? Well, there's a few reasons, one being it's to show their supreme power and superiority over humans, but one of the main reasons is actually so that they can hold all of their symbols at once. See, Hindu gods almost always have multiple different symbols, and they're always holding them in their depictions. For example, the god Vishnu's symbols are a mace, a disc, a conch, and a lotus flower, so of course he needs 4 arms in order to hold all 4 of those things. I mean, what else do you expect him to do? Put something down? That's crazy talk. Famous last words. This bath is too cold. Excuse me, ladies, do you think you could heat it up a bit? Oh, I'm so hungry, but there's nothing left to eat! Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Who is that girl? We did it! We finally captured the evil Siwatateo! Curses! Never again will you steal our children! Never again will you drive our people insane! And never again will you force our men to commit adultery! Oh yeah? Wait a minute, I don't force men to commit adultery. What do you mean? Of course you do! You forced several of our husbands to commit adultery over the years. No, I haven't! That's not one of my powers! Who told you that? Well, she's clearly lying. I mean, why else would we... Hey! Why did Anubis leave the underworld? So that he could start a new business. Hey bro, what you doing? Oh, I'm just looking through some old memories, some of the girls I was with over the years, old photos. Oh, Clyde. That girl never got over me. Though, who could really blame her, huh? Oh, this is a sad one. Poor Hyacinthus. I still haven't forgiven myself for what happened. I don't know what to say. Oh, and Daphne, the one that got away. I'm sorry, I need a minute. I think what you need is a therapist. Hey, here's something you might not know about Medusa. Did you know that when Perseus chopped her head off, she was pregnant with 2 kids? Joy. Yeah, these 2 kids had been fathered by Poseidon, and they fell out of her open neck after her head was chopped off. Fun way to be born. One of them was a winged horse named Pegasus. You may have heard of him. Her other son is named Chrysaor, and he has been depicted 2 different ways. Sometimes he is a large man wearing gold, and sometimes he is a boar with wings. Okay, we got a thing for animals with wings, I guess. But it doesn't stop there! The blood that dripped from her head spawned another monster, a 2-headed snake named Amphisbaena. Man, you chop off one monster's head and 3 more pop out. Move over, Hydra. Yo mama's so fat, Heimdall can't see past her. Yo mama's so cold, she extinguished Muspelheim. Yo mama's so old, all of the Einherjar recognize her. Yo mama's so poor, Fafnir just gave her his treasure out of pity. Yo mama's so fat, she knocked over the world tree. Yo mama's so short, she keeps asking why Nidavellir is full of giants. Yo mama's so ugly, she's the real reason Odin pulled his eye out. So here's something interesting I noticed in Norse mythology. For those who don't know, there are several stories of Thor and Loki traveling together, and there's one where they encounter a bunch of mountain giants led by one named Utgard Loki, no relation to Loki. He dares them to try to complete several challenges, and he lets them pick the first one. Loki says, "I'm so hungry I could out-eat any of you giants." So he competes against another giant, but Loki loses, because it's revealed that his opponent is actually not a giant, it's fire, which eats everything in its path. You can't out-eat fire. But here's the thing. Loki said he could out-eat any giant. His opponent was not a giant. It was revealed to be fire. So doesn't that mean Utgard Loki cheated and didn't follow the rules? Didn't do the challenge the way Loki posed it in the first place? Technicalities. They're important. Hey, you know why Loki didn't have time for his other kids? Because he was too busy raising hell. I gotta say, Jupiter, it's incredible just how alike we are. I know, and I love it. I always thought the world needed more of me. You know what we should do? We should team up! Imagine all the things we could accomplish if we work together! Let's do it! Let's unite and accomplish every goal we've ever had! In other news, every single person on the planet has seemingly been impregnated. Women and men alike. While the cause of this remains a mystery, witnesses report hearing sounds that have since been identified as lyrics to the song Candy Shop by 50 Cent. People were quoted as saying, "What the hell is going on?" Hey guys, remember like a year ago when those giants attacked us and then Ares went out and tried to stop them? Oh yeah, and the giants just picked him up like he was nothing and stuffed him in a jar, kicking and screaming. That was the best. Hey, how did you get him out of that jar? I thought you got him out of the jar. Uh-oh. Is anybody out there? I have to pee so bad! So here's a mythical creature who's always trying to get it in, the Boto Encantado from Brazilian folklore. Its natural form is a pinkish dolphin, but it has the ability to shapeshift. Often during a full moon, this creature will turn itself into a very handsome man in a suit, but he has to wear a hat because he still has his blowhole on his head. Guess that's the one thing he can't change. I question how he's still able to breathe while his blowhole is completely covered, but let's move on. Once Pinky the Dolphin here has shapeshifted, his first and only goal is to seduce women. Okay, Zeus. These creatures are very charming, though, and can very easily get women to fall for them, which results in these women getting impregnated. And right after the woman gets pregnant, the dolphin just goes, "Okay, peace out." Then he takes his true form and ditches her. Okay, Zeus. So yeah, ladies, beware handsome men with hats. They may be horny dolphins. Hey, why is it that the Norse gods never get to take a break? Because they have some giant problems. Oh man. Oh, I was tossing the ball around and it went over the side of the mountain. Ooh, I think it's broken. Zeus, for the last time, our child is not a ball! Alright, I got a new plan for how I'm gonna dethrone Osiris. Oh, cool. What you gonna do? Kill him? Blackmail him? Start a rebellion? Better. I am gonna put him in a box. You're gonna put him in a box? I'm gonna put him in a box! You know, far be it from me to question the objective brilliance that goes on in your head, but why are you gonna put him in a box? Well, if he's in a box, he obviously can't rule Egypt anymore, so they'll have no choice but to let me take the throne. Eh? Wow, the literal god of evil and deceit, and that's the best you could come up with. Uh-oh, sounds like somebody doesn't believe in the box. Of course I don't believe in the box! How dense do you have to be to think that's actually some kind of solid plan? Oh my god, somebody put Osiris in a box! Well, Osiris can't rule when he's in a box, we'll just have to let Set be in charge. Seriously? Should've believed in the box. Wisdom with Mimir. Even if schools did teach important stuff like how to do taxes or buy a house, it wouldn't matter, because you still wouldn't have paid attention. Hey, I got a question about Zeus. Okay, so in Greek mythology, it says that Zeus wields a master bolt that he got from the elder Cyclopses, and this bolt is what gives him power over thunder and lightning so he can shoot thunderbolts at people. But then later in Greek mythology, it also says that Hephaestus and the other Cyclopses build Zeus individual lightning bolts for him to throw. Like when he killed Asclepius, he used an individual bolt. So which is it? Zeus? Does he use a master bolt to shoot lightning at people, or does he throw individual lightning bolts? Is it both? Like, does Zeus just treat the master bolt like it's a collector's item and leave it on his shelf like it's a special thing not to be used commonly, and then just throw the individual bolts? Man, if that's true, that's just Zeus loving to have his cake and eat it too. Hey! Here's something you might not know about Hephaestus. I think we're all familiar with his incredibly toxic marriage to Aphrodite, but did you know he actually ended up with someone else? Yeah, Hephaestus got tired of Aphrodite cheating on him, so he eventually left her. And he even got remarried to a woman named Al Gaya. But who is Al Gaya, I hear you ask? Well, Al Gaya is one of 3 Greek minor goddesses known as the Charities. Greeks really seem to like putting women in groups of 3. And yes, that is where we get the word charity from. The Charities are goddesses of nature, goodwill, charm, and beauty, among other things. Wow, Hephaestus seems to have a thing for goddesses of beauty. Their goal is to constantly bring aid, joy, and happiness to anyone they can. So being married to one sounds like a pretty sweet deal. I know a lot of people out there feel really bad for Hephaestus and want him to get justice, so I thought it'd be really nice to let you all know that he did in fact get a happy ending. Good for him. Hey, did you know that the Egyptian cat goddess was both a warrior goddess and a fertility goddess? Man, she really was the best of both worlds. Oh, here comes Koalamos. He's the god of stupidity. Really? But how do you know he's the god of stupidity? Did you know that video games cause real-world violence and bigotry? Oh, now I see it. Alright, we've got some new knights joining us today. Sir Galahad, Sir Kay, and Sir Percival. Welcome to the Round Table. Your Majesty, I've been meaning to ask, who was it who built the Round Table? Ah, yes, of course. That was Circumference. Did you just make a pun? Your king just made a pun. So laugh. Dude, you're an asshole. Yeah, okay. You know, it doesn't matter what you think, because only God can judge me. You're an asshole. You really shouldn't disrespect the Aztec priests. You know, they had to make a lot of sacrifices to succeed in their careers. So here's a mythical creature who's really got the whole package, the Tanooki from Japanese mythology. The Tanooki, or raccoon dog, is actually a real kind of animal in Japan who has inspired some pretty wild mythical tales. These creatures are known for their magic, their trickery, their shape-shifting, and their love of sake. But probably the thing they're most known for is their gigantic magical testicles. Yeah, seriously, anytime these creatures need to get something done, they just whip out their enchanted cojones. These creatures can weaponize their testicles, play music with their testicles, take shelter under their testicles, use their testicles as a cushion, even use their testicles to aid in their trickery and shape-shifting. Like, for example, the Tanooki may shape-shift himself into a shopkeeper and then transform his testicles into the shops surrounding him. Literal balls to the wall. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say their groins probably aren't as sensitive as people's usually are. So the next time some arrogant jerk you know claims to be the ballsiest of guys, tell them the tale of the balls on the Tanooki. Hey, Hephaestus, is it possible for you to make some lightning bolts for me to throw at people? Well, yeah, I guess I could, but why would I? You've already got a master thunderbolt created by the Elder Cyclopses, more powerful than any other weapon. Yes, I know that. Okay, there's no need for clunky exposition, alright? So you're saying it is possible. Great, could you please make me some bolts? I've got some people I need to smite. Well, why don't you just use the Master Bolt? Well, you know, the Master Bolt is such a special weapon. I don't think these guys are worthy of it. So, I'll save that for special occasions, and for now I'll just use, whatever I can get my hands on. You lost it, didn't you? What? No! No, of course not! Yeah. I did it! After centuries of chasing, I finally caught the moon! This is the greatest day of my life! Hey, Skull, how's yours? Oh my god, it burns! Wisdom with Mimir. Nobody's trying to microchip you. Do you honestly think anybody wants to have to keep tabs on your boring-ass life? Hey, why did the Hindu god get arrested? Because he was so heavily armed. Fun fact! Did you know that the Pokemon Slowbro and Slowking were actually inspired by a Japanese mythical creature known as the Saze Oni? The Saze Oni is a turban snail demon woman because why the hell not? Where does it come from, you ask? Well, some legends say that, when a turban snail turns 30, it becomes this. What a natural conclusion. This creature also has the power to disguise itself as a regular-looking woman. See, one story in particular says that a group of sailors found a woman stranded in the ocean, so they brought her aboard their ship to rescue her, though not for good reasons. They each forced themselves on her, and then later that night, she took her true form and bit all of their testicles off. Guess she was collecting some Pokeballs of her own. Don't you just love finding out that the silly little characters from your childhood come from stories like that? Quetzalcoatl? Tezcatlipoca? Quetzalcoatlpochtli? Xochipalli? Kotliku? Chalchiatalikui?
True international effort to pressure.
Well, I broke up with Narcissus. What? Why? Because that man is only interested in himself. But he seemed so focused on you. You said he always looked into your eyes when you were together. Sis, look me in the eye and tell me what you see. Well, I see a strong, confident woman. No, I mean literally, okay? Like, what do you actually see when you look someone straight deep in the eye? My reflection. Yup! You ready to get married, babe? Yes! I can't wait to be Mrs. Heracles. I always thought it was funny that your name means glory to Hera, even though you two hate each other. Yeah, the irony is not lost on me. Hey, what does your name mean? Husband Destroyer. What? How come you never mentioned that? Well, it's just a name. It doesn't mean anything. It's a bit of a red flag. Especially considering there's a marriage about to happen. Also, who the hell names their kid that? So what are you saying? You don't want to marry me anymore? Dang, bro. Well, I'm guessing the marriage didn't happen. Oh, no, I still married her. What? Why? Why would you do that? Because we're in love, okay? Love is worth taking a chance. So the sex is that good, huh? Oh, yeah. Hey, how come ghosts aren't welcome in theaters? Because they always boo. Ugh, I want to die. My life sucks. I don't want to live it anymore. I really wish it would just end. Oh God!
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Fun fact. Mummies these days are very commonly used as monsters in several different genres, but did you know that when the first fictional stories of mummies came out, they were actually depicted in a very sexual way, as the romantic love interests of the stories? And they were mostly female. Guess guys back then really had a thing for wrapped up corpses. Stories that did this include The Mummy's Foot, interesting title, The Ring of Thoth, The Unseen Man's Story, My New Year's Eve Among Mummies, yeah, and The Jewel of Seven Stars by Bram Stoker, the same man who did Dracula. Also, last time I checked, the earliest known fictional mummy story was written in the 1800s, and it's about a mummy waking up in the futuristic 22nd century. What the heck? Now that's a movie adaptation I want to see. Yes, I've become a vampire. I am immortal and possess supernatural powers. Everyone will fear me as a creature of the night. Vampires can't eat garlic bread. Aww. Ah, yes, night is finally here. Come, brothers, the sun may be deadly to us, but now the moon shines overhead. Now is the time to strike. You know, moonlight is just a reflection of sunlight, so it'll probably have the same effect. I don't like you. So, why are you calling me a witch? Thou wast wearing a dress that partially revealed her legs, as only a witch would do. Really? That's what you're basing this on? Questioning the logic of a superior? This woman is a witch! You know, Adam and Eve walked around naked. Were they witches? Slandering biblical characters! This woman is a witch! Wow. It really doesn't matter what I say, does it? You've already decided I'm guilty. The witch can read minds! Hallows Eve is a time of year when the boundary between life and death is at its weakest. Because of this, we have several traditions and ceremonies to prevent the spirits of the dead from causing trouble. I do wonder, sir, do you think people will still commemorate this time of year centuries from now? Oh, I'm sure they will. In their own way. Oh my dear sweet lord, the pumpkin spice latte is back at Starbucks! Hey, why was the Egyptian ruler so stinky? Because he had bad pheromones. Hey, here's something you might not know about Athena. Did you know that even though she's a virgin goddess, there was one point where she sorta had a child? It's complicated. You see, what happened was at one point Hephaestus had a crush on Athena and tried to get her to sleep with him. She wasn't having it though and fought him off, but in that skirmish, his semen shot onto her thigh. Jeez, Hephaestus. She, of course, wiped it off right away, but it was too late. His semen touching her thigh resulted in that seed growing into a child named Erichthonius. Athena decided she wanted to raise the child, so she stuck the baby in a box and gave it to 3 sisters, telling them never to open it. What a weird way to raise a kid. The sisters didn't listen, though, and opened it anyway. They were horrified to see that the baby was half human, half snake, went insane, and threw themselves off a cliff. Funny thing is, Erichthonius actually grew up to be a very good man and a king, so I guess this was the ideal way to raise a kid. Huh. If Sunday is God's rest day, why is it also the day we go to church and pray to him? Aren't we bothering him on his day off? If Jesus didn't want people to sin, why did he turn water into wine? People tend to be more sinful after drinking wine. If I become a priest, does my father have to call me father? Ah! Yo mama's so fat she flattened Mount Olympus. Yo mama's so ugly, Pan ran away from her. Yo mama's so dumb, the Sphinx refused to give her a riddle. Yo mama's so fat she emptied the Horn of Plenty. Yo mama's so crazy, Eris got a restraining order. Yo mama's so damaged she outdrank Dionysus. Yo mama's so annoying, Narcissus stopped staring at his reflection so he could get away from her. Hey, you know why nobody was impressed by the creature Artemis made? Because it was a huge bore. Fun fact! Did you know that the word hermaphrodite comes from a Greek myth? You see, it's a character named Hermaphroditus. He is the son of Hermes and Aphrodite, and therefore his name is a mixture of their names. Though I don't see that with other characters, but whatever. What happened was, he was a very good-looking boy, and there was a female nymph named Salmachus who wanted him. So she tried to seduce him, but he said, no thanks. So she did what characters in Greek mythology do, and she tried to force herself on him. He fought her, and so she prayed to the gods that they could be joined together forever, and the gods answered her prayer. Really? All the prayers you could have answered, and that was the one? They merged the two together, and Hermaphroditus became a character of both genders. Why did the gods do that? He was a child of two of them. Like, seriously? So many questions. These facts aren't always fun, are they? So, you want to be Jewish? Yes, I do. Very well. The first thing we must do is cut your penis. I'm sorry, what? You want to be Jewish, don't you? Well, yeah, but I didn't know it was going to involve sticking a knife in my mini-me. Sounds a little extreme, don't you think? I understand, but listen. Sometimes we have to make sacrifices in order to prove our dedication to what we believe in. So I need you to ask yourself, is this important to you? You know what? Let's do it. I have faith in this religion and I want to go all in. Wonderful! We also don't eat bacon. I'm out. Man, I really wonder what it's like to be friends with Hecate, the Greek goddess of magic. I'll bet every moment with her would be whimsical and amazing. Hecate, it's 3 a.m. Can you please stop? No talking. Now, is this your card? Come on. Yes, it is. Yes! Now pick another one. No. Wisdom with Mimir. When you use a credit card, you're basically saying, well, I don't have enough money to buy this, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. Hopefully this won't backfire. Hey, why did Cain kill his brother? Because he wasn't able to control himself. So here's a mythical creature who utterly disturbs me. The Sigbin from Filipino mythology. This creature represents a kind of cross between a hornless goat and a kangaroo. It has a tail that it can use as a whip, cool, and it has 2 big ears that it can clap together like hands, though the reason as to why it would is completely lost on me. These creatures come out at night in order to find victims that they can suck the blood out of for sustenance, or in order to seek out children to rip their hearts out, which they then fashion into amulets. Arts and crafts, it's a hobby. When they prowl around, they prefer to walk backwards with their head tucked between their legs. Hey, I don't judge. Apparently, legends also say there are some families who own these things and store them in jars in their houses. What for? Do they have some kind of activity in mind? Oh, and they also smell really bad. Because this story wasn't weird enough without that fact. Seriously, Paris, you could have had any woman you wanted and you had to pick Helen of Sparta? Well, she's hot. Yeah, she's also married. To the king of Sparta? Doesn't make her any less hot. Paris, do you realize you've started a war? One that will claim the lives of thousands of innocent people? Well, yeah, but you see, she's really hot. I don't think you're comprehending just how much damage you've caused. Well, I don't think you're comprehending just how hot this woman is. A lot of people these days are claiming that the reason Athena turned Medusa into a monster who turned anyone who looked at her into stone was to protect her and keep her safe. So no man could ever lust after her or assault her again. Like Athena did that to Medusa for Medusa's own good because she wanted Medusa to be safe. Well, I've got one question for people who say that. Why then would Athena later help Perseus kill Medusa, and then take Medusa's lifeless head and stick it on her shield? Why would she do that if she wanted to help Medusa? Doesn't sound very protective to me. Alright, successfully took down the Nemean lion. Really? But I heard the skin of the lion could not be pierced. Indeed, so I squeezed it to death. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, and the best part is, I removed the skin afterwards and had it made into impenetrable armor that I can wear now. Wait, but if the skin can't be pierced, how the heck did you get it off the body? And how did you make it into wearable armor without cutting it? Well, And no one will notice that. Fun fact! Do you know the origins of the Cornucopia? It actually comes from Greek mythology, where it is referred to as the Horn of Plenty, and there are a couple different stories as to how it came to be. One such story is that when Zeus was a baby, he was nursed by a magical goat named Amalthea, who provided him with endless nourishment. However, one time when Zeus was playing with the goat, he accidentally broke off one of her horns, which, much like Amalthea, provided endless nourishment and became the Horn of Plenty. The other story is of Heracles and Accolas. Accolas was a river god, and both he and Heracles wanted the same woman, so they decided to wrestle for who would get to marry her. Accolas took the form of a bull, but he lost the fight, and Heracles ripped off one of his horns during the battle, which became the Horn of Plenty. And now you know why there's a big random horn sitting in the middle of your dining room table once a year. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey honey, there was some weird kid at the door trying to keep me from getting in. Oh yeah, that's our son. I asked him to guard the door. What? Since when do we have a son? I just created him. Here, I'll introduce you. Yeah, about that, I kinda chopped his head off. What? While he was blocking the door, I got mad. So you decapitated a child? Hey, come on, give me a break. I didn't know it was ours. But you did know he was a child! Well, yeah, it'd be hard not to notice that. So you had no qualms about murdering a child until you found out it was yours? That is an accurate description of what happened, yes.